Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? It is the Players Championship betting preview. And for me, the Players always symbolizes spring. Spring is kind of on the way. It's almost here.
Yeah.
Prepubescent spring, technically. Daylight savings starts. It's beautiful. You can play golf longer. So I thought I'd break out the floral Swannies drip, Pat. Pretty pumped about it. But we're going to talk all things the Players outright, some early outright thoughts, some top 20 thoughts. It is Sunday afternoon, late afternoon here at the time of this recording. We're watching Scotty Scheffler pull away at the Arnold Palmer. I've watched one of my live outrights, Paul Casey at 50-1 losing a playoff. I'm about to watch, I think, two of my Puerto Rico outrights finish second and third. And, of course, Willie Zalatoris is probably going to finish second or third as well. So a typical week for me in the outright department. Pat, I don't think much better for you, but how we doing, bud? You ready to talk the Players?
Yeah, I am. I'm excited. I don't think I had anybody even close. Sam Burns was up there a little bit.
Boy, he collapsed today.
Maybe that was it. I don't.
Just bogeyed again. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he have a triple on like the first or second hole?
Yeah, he opened up with a 7 on the par 4 first, which is fun. It's been fun. It's the API has been fun to watch. It's been fun to see a little bit of carnage, see a little bit of craziness. I always kind of tend to, I don't know, like pull back the bankroll a little bit for API just because it gets weird. And then, you're going to want to fire hard on the Players, especially we'll be there. We will be at TPC Sawgrass on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. God willing, because Lord knows everything is against me and Pat at the moment from health stuff. Pat threw his back out over the weekend. I
did.
God. Are you sitting there on ice right now, or you got a brace on, or some sort of have you been to an Asian massage place to kind of remedy that?
None of that yet. Right now, it's just pure adrenaline, man. I mean, I'm pure adrenaline. When I get so excited to be on the show with you, I feel like my back is in perfect shape right now.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Not really. I might fall out of this chair. I'm in excruciating pain. I need alcohol.
Well, get it. Get you some, dog. Get you some.
I may just do that.
It is 4 o'clock, but you got some over your shoulder there. I see it. You took down the Jake Knapp poster too. You're not going to leave that up?
Well, it kind of fell down a little bit, sort of like Jake's game over the weekend. But no, I'm going to put it up. I got to find a more permanent spot for it, though.
Yeah. We've got a great week. Obviously, all the regularly scheduled content drops for the Players Championship. We've got Pat Mayo, the GOAT, joining us for the DFS show on Monday afternoon. You don't want to miss that. We'll have a good time with Pat. The big Discord Wednesday night live chat will be a lot of fun. Me and Pat together. That should be a really a good one, as it always is when we're together. A lot of good stuff going on in the Discord all week. We've got the Masters ticket giveaway. So if you would like 2 tickets to come to a practice round on Tuesday at Augusta National for the Masters, we are giving 2 of ours away. We're giving them away. And it's really easy. If you're already a member of the Discord, you are in. A paid member of the Discord, you're in. If you're not, you have to join and become an annual subscriber. Subscribe to the Nut Hut and be an annual member, and you will get entered into the drawing that we will do a couple weeks before the Masters. Make sure you can get here and make arrangements. We're going to give you 2 tickets to Tuesday, and they are your tickets. If you can't get there, that's okay. That's on you. You get to do whatever you want with them. Give them to a family member, a friend, whatever you want to do. If they're yours at that point, we will be there on Tuesday. Pretty sure we'll be there on Tuesday. So we'd love to meet up, and happy to walk around with whoever's going to be there on Tuesday at Augusta. Should be a good time. Click the link in the description of the Discord to click the link. God dang it. Click the link in the description of this video or podcast to get in the Discord and give it a shot. It is the best golf betting community around. You get all kind of benefits. And I think the Wednesday night chat's going to be a good time, Pat. We've got so along with the Pat Mayo show, I did the Players course preview show yesterday. That dropped. So listen, we're not going to do a whole lot of course discussion here, not a whole lot of key stats discussion. I'm sure stuff will come out as we talk about some players, but all that's dropped. Some quotes from players over the past few years, some things that we've learned just being out there, walking the grounds with players over the last couple of years. We've gotten to do that. So all that's in that video. It's like 27 minutes. Check that out or listen to it on podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. Pat, I wanted to start with just things about TPC. things about the Players Championship. And I know you've been in pain, you've been doing some stuff, and so I don't I've got a list here. You feel free to chime in when you want, or if you have thoughts you'd like to add, or questions, comments, concerns.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have some thoughts or things to add to this.
Okay. And this is in no particular order, but just things I think gamblers, DFS players, people should just consider when handicapping, when evaluating where to put their hard-earned dollars into the Players Championship. First of all, I think that form over course history really matters. I think that course history gets knocked down a tad at the Players Championship, given the variance of this golf course. You and I both played it in April one year. And again, we've walked it in the ropes during practice rounds with players. There's one bad swing can lead to many extra shots on your scorecard that you're not wanting, whether it's in the water or it's one of these stupid hazards that Pete Dye did. Whatever it is, it is just a course that lends itself to a little bit of chaos. Maybe not as much as we see at Bay Hill or even Honda or the Cognizant or whatever, but there's a little bit of chaos here. Obviously, you can have wind advantages or disadvantages depending on the weather. So that's probably another thing to remember is weather is going to be a big factor. Wind is going to be a big factor. But I do have a few stats here I want to rattle off that I think are interesting about course history and recent form. I put a lot more in the Discord. It's going to go in the research channel of the Discord. But I'm just going to tease the people here on the podcast with a little bit. In the last 3 years, Pat, 67 players have finished in the top 20 in the last 3 editions of the Players Championship. Of those 67, 27 of them, which I think is a lot. I don't know. Maybe obviously that's pretty subjective, but I think it's a lot. 27 had no better than a T45 finish in their previous 5 years at TPC. Now, that could be miscuts. That could be they'd never played it before. But it's just no better finish or no finish at all, no start at all, never played the weekend, but never better than a T45 in the last 5 years. 27 players that finished in the top 20 fit that mold. How does that hit you? How does that strike you? You're a course history guy. How does that make you feel?
Yeah. I agree. I think when you're doing research for this golf tournament, one of the first things that really jumps out at you is that there are a lot of guys that are going to check a lot of boxes, and then you go to the history, and you're like, it's really not adding up very good. And I agree. I think the form is certainly a bigger deal. I think there's some players I'm going to talk about tonight or this afternoon that I don't think fit the course history model, but I like how they're swinging it heading into this golf tournament. And you're right. This is it's similar. I like this course a whole lot better than I like Bay Hill. I'll put it that way. Yeah. But there are a lot of similarities. There's a lot of trouble on both courses that can one bad swing can totally derail you. Sam Burns today, you know, Sam Burns and Max Homa, both, I would say, pretty good drivers of the golf ball, went out of bounds in the first hole. So, cool. That's, that can happen, and that can happen on this golf course. So I'm in agreement so far with you, DB.
So then I was like, well, let me look at those 27 guys who had no real course history to speak of and see how they were playing leading up to their top 20 finishes. And of those 27, 13, almost half, had a top 10 finish or better in the previous 5 weeks leading up to the Players Championship. So I guess now also I will say this, if you look at recent form, and this is another thing to note, if you look at recent form leading up to the Players Championship, you will see when you look at top performers over the past leaderboards, which is something that I love doing on Bet the Number, kind of going to the 2023 Players Championship, the 2022, 2021. There was no 2020. We were there. It was one round, and then it was over, and then the world shut down. 2019 was the first one they had in March after moving it to May for all those years. But I like going back and looking back at those leaderboards and seeing what those guys did well, seeing their lead-in form, their lead-in course history. Even the form, there is for sure some spotty form. There could be a random miscut or two in their previous 5 weeks, but 13 of them had at least a top 10 at some point in the previous 5 weeks leading up to that event. So they had been playing, they had shown some level of form. And we all know that with those Florida swing events, especially the Honda and the API right before the Players, especially in those events, again, we just got done talking about it. A ton of variance. One swing can change whether or not you're there on the weekend or you're not. It can change whether you have a top 10 or you don't. You have a top 20 or you don't. So I would say also, don't get too wrapped up in your guys having to have like picture perfect chalk form either, right? But I do think that the form gets a slight bump over, I would say a significant bump in my mind over course history.
I would agree with you there.
Beautiful.
I'm paying attention to you, just so you know.
Are you on your what was it we said last week? You're on
some other land?
Yeah, Eric Van Rooyen land or whatever it was.
Yeah.
All right, and other things about this golf course. If you go back and you look at a bunch of player quotes, appropriately aggressive and appropriately conservative on this Pete Dye course. And I know you and I can definitely testify to that, having seen it very up close and personal. I think that's a big thing people need to remember. Short game and mental game is going to matter a ton. So short game is going to matter. It's going to matter even more if the weather turns rough. Right now, I will say this, Pat, we have a perfect week in store at TPC Sawgrass next week. Very mild temperatures, very mild wind. I don't see any rain in the forecast. I bet they can get the course playing as firm as they want it to play. And it looks like it's going to be optimal for scoring. Even in that case, short game matters here. You will miss these small greens. But also just the mind games that dang Pete Dye plays on you at this golf course, and some of the bad breaks, and some of the slight misses that you have that result in a big number. And then can you clear the mechanism and move on and finish that hole out and go to the next hole and bounce back, right? I'm sure we would agree that matters.
Yes.
Two more things I have. Bad putters can win here, as can average length hitters can win here. You do not have to be a bomber here. I do think in March, if you read through a lot of the player quotes, they do make it pretty obvious that in March, it's not as firm and fast in the fairway. So guys hit more drivers. In essence, it makes the fairways a little wider. It's not running out as much. So I do think it plays into the longer hitters a little bit more in March, but it is not a prerequisite. And we've seen that on the leaderboards. But average distance, I do think is good. If you're super short, probably going to have some issues. But we've also seen plenty of bad putters do well here. We've seen guys lose strokes putting that do just fine here. This is primarily a second shot golf course. Precision, placement off the tee, second shot course. Have some short game. Have some mental fortitude. Hang on to your dicks and play well at the Pete Dye design. Would you have anything else to add here?
No, 100%. I think every year we tend to see somebody up on the leaderboard, maybe a couple guys that you're just like, what the hell is that guy doing up there?
Like Chad Ramey for me last year.
David Lingmerth or something. God, Chad Ramey's a good one. Fred Funk won this golf tournament, and that was a little bit different back then.
Oh my God.
But I mean,
what a pull.
Well, I mean,
you're right.
You talk about distance. I mean, the guy hit a lot of fairways, but not a whole lot of distance. So, yes, I'm with you there. What else do you have, DB? You had one more thought, or was that it?
No, I think that's it. I mean, if you've been doing this for a while, maybe put in the comments, drop it in the YouTube comments. What do you need to tell yourself? Let's all help each other. What do you have to tell yourself? What do you have to remind yourself about this golf tournament, about this golf course, about betting it, about playing daily fantasy, whatever it is? Put it in the comments. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let's get into the picks, Pat. Let's get into.
I had a thought.
Oh, you did? I thought you were done.
Yeah. No, I had a thought.
Good.
I was going to ask you this.
Okay,
actually.
good.
This year, it seems like we have. I think I read, because we're going to go to the rookie press conferences on Tuesday morning. I want to say there was close to 30 rookies in the field, 27, something like that. Is that right?
Something.
I don't know. What the number may not matter. It feels like there are a lot of guys that are rookies, though, that are playing extremely well leading up to this event. But they've had to go through a little bit of a grind because, when you had Mexico, like we'll take Jake Knapp, for instance. You had Mexico, and then he had to play, he played the API. He played the Honda the next week. And then he had to play the API because he got in there, obviously, and it's an elevated event. And now they're playing at the Players. So with this elevated event coming right before the Players, I do wonder a little bit of a fatigue factor with the guys who've grinded the last few weeks out. Whereas like a guy like a Scheffler or whoever can kind of like pick their schedule. So does that lend itself to, like we're probably going to see at the API, a lower odds guy winning, not a long shot like we've seen this year?
Listen, I mean, Pat, I don't know if you've taken a gander at Jake Knapp today, but I mean, he's a physical specimen. Okay, I'm not worried about Jake Knapp being tired.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a mental.
Seemed a little tired yesterday.
Maybe there's a mental grind when you have to play Honda and you have to play API back to back. I could see that being an issue. But I don't know about that for Jake Knapp. And I think if you're at your first players, like you got to be up for that. You just have to be up for sure. Like now, I don't have any. Well, actually, I might need to check on one guy. I don't think I have any rookies picked to possibly win here. I don't think this is a rookie. Siwoo Kim, God bless our sweet South Korean prince who we hope to see on Tuesday. Like, other than Siwoo winning at 500 to 1 a couple years ago, 2017, I think Webb won at 100 to 1. Everybody else has been pretty short. So you're right. I mean, we tend to see the cream rise to the top here, and that's what the tour wants. I mean, and the tour sets this golf course up however they want to. It's going to reward ball strikers and the best players in the world. So that is the goal that they're hoping for here. I mean, you had Scheffler win last year, you had Cam Smith win, you had Justin Thomas win, all that good stuff. Tons of big names have won here. But I don't know. I guess it just depends on the rookie. But like my if I were to be the most bullish I'll be on a rookie is a top 20. I don't really see. Even though, yes, you're right. I think at times we will see them up on a leaderboard, but just for over 4 days, I feel like it's all going to regulate.
I feel like Aberg is about the main rookie you could look at.
Aberg, yeah, that's true. I actually, you know what? I don't even consider him a rookie for some reason. Like he clearly is, but in my mind, I don't think about him as a rookie. I just feel like we talked about him a lot last year. He's already won. He just feels like a staple.
Do you think in his mind he doesn't think he's a rookie? Like what if he just doesn't show up to the rookie press conference? He's like, I don't need to show up.
Do you think he'll be there?
I mean, all of them were there last year when we did it.
I guess he will be. I don't know. I didn't even think about. I honestly don't even think about him as a rookie. That's crazy, but I don't.
I don't either. But he is.
All right. The one thing about rookies too to remember is this course. If you're a PGA Tour player or even a Korn Ferry Tour player, you get access to this golf course. So just because they haven't played the tournament,
a lot of them,
they all get access to this course. They play, Korn Ferry Tour events at the Dye course, and I think even at this course to some extent. So, I mean, a lot of these guys are going to be quite familiar with TPC Sawgrass. It's just it's a $4.5 million to the winner. It's a big purse. It's a big event. It's the tour's flagship deal. It's there's all the hoopla around it. As close to a major as I think you get. Not being a major, it's not as big a deal as it used to be before all the live separation, but it's a big deal. And so you typically see the big guys get it done. Anything else to add there, Pat?
No, I think that's all I have right this minute, DB.
So I guess we don't have a full-on season-long update then, do we? Because, I mean, well, we do know that I finally beat you this week because my fade was Colin Morikawa, who missed the cut, and he did not he's not going to get any cash. But, it's probably not going to hurt you that much. You had Xander, correct?
I had Xander, and I think he's probably going to be in the top 30. You're going to gain some ground.
I mean, I'm going to gain very little ground. I mean, Xander's T24. I know this is a signature event, but I don't know what that kind of money that is. It can't be much. I mean, maybe 100. Does he win $100,000 if that? I bet I don't even know if he wins that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's not going to be much, but it does feel good to at least like not be the worst pick of the week. I think it's your pick to start this week, right?
It is.
And this is, we got some options here, shorter than 30 to 1. If you're new here, this is our season-long bet. The loser of the season-long bet will be the person who, at the end of the season, has earned the most money through their picks every week, picking guys shorter than 30 to 1 or shorter every week. So we're going through the favorites. We're making ourselves choose a fade, a guy who we don't want to bet on. And we're going against each other, and whoever ends the season with the least amount of total earnings is going to win, and the loser is going to have to go to an embarrassing or terrible, dumb concert and document it by themselves at the end of the season. So that is our season-long bet. Pat has a huge lead on me right now, but that's okay. This is a big one. This is a really big one. These are the weeks where the decisions really can get you. I mean, $4.5 million to the winner. Can you imagine fading the guy who wins? It's a big decision.
Yeah, it is. And it's up to me.
All is in your court.
Well, I think that I just don't see this person winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I just don't feel like the game is all there right now, even though he obviously is one of the best ball strikers in the world. But I'm going with Morikawa.
Oh,
I'm going with what you did last week. I'm going with Morikawa, coming off of a disappointing API. Now, I think it was last year where I think I may have faded Morikawa and he came out and he was leading after the first round.
Yes.
Had like a 7 or 8 under in the first round, but he did fall back a little bit. But I'm going to go with Morikawa. I feel pretty comfortable that I'm not going to see Morikawa holding the trophy.
Have you had a chance to tinker with your model and bet the number yet?
I have not tinkered a ton. Now the BTN model has him 42nd. Now he is listed as second in the field in strokes gained approach. Everything else doesn't look that great. The
DB model, which I took some of Bet the Numbers model and added some and moved some things around. The DB model, he is 6th in my model.
So your model's a lot different than the BTN model.
Yeah, I mean, it's given me obviously a big difference on Morikawa. I'd have to go back and look at the weights and see kind of what's causing that, but that's interesting. All right, well, I'm gonna speaking of the guy we were just talking about, who is done with his week at API. He's gonna finish top 25, probably not terrible, but terrible approach this week. Lost over 3 shots on approach at API. Not good around the greens either. Lost some strokes around the greens. He is 27th in my model. And, has been a little just average at times. The irons have been average. And this place is going to somewhat neuter him off the tee. I'm going to take Ludwig. I'm going to fade Ludwig. First time at the Players Championship.
I don't know if I like that.
So Lud's 30-1 on the dot. And Morikawa is like 25-ish.
Yeah.
Why don't you like it?
I don't know. It's more of just a feeling thing with Lud. I just feel like he could have a good week.
Yeah, I mean, he could. He's obviously really good. But his irons have just been kind of meh. Like in the key proximity buckets, and bet the number, we can do strokes gained on those numbers. I mean, he ranks 52nd in this field in the key range over the last 30 rounds between those numbers. And that includes that actually includes his win at the RSM. So like the short and mid irons have just not been great for Lud.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and being a rookie, he just seems so solid. I mean, just across the board, but I don't know. I mean, I can get behind that. All right, I feel like we both might have this could be an interesting week because I don't know. I feel like they could finish like right around the same place, and I don't think they're going to miss the cut. I can tell you that. So we'll have a sweat going into the weekend.
Well, we'll see. All right, so that's a season-long bet. Pat is fading Morikawa. I'm fading Ludwig. Let's get to our outright picks. Before we do, we talked about Bet the Number. If you've not already signed up for Bet the Number, check it out. They just launched in January, already making tremendous strides in the community, providing the best golf data and analytics out there. Licensed PGA Tour ShotLink data comes directly and automatically into Bet the Number. The live tournament page is fantastic. The folks behind the scenes helping people figure out how to bend over their bookies. Okay, they're prioritizing the betting space, prioritizing the props markets as well. Tons of new tools coming, maybe even something dropping over the weekend, and plenty of stuff coming before Masters. So get in there, get involved with Bet the Number. The link is in the description of the show. You can use code TJ to get $5 off a monthly membership or $50 off an annual membership. But If you are a member of the Discord, just simply DM myself or Pat, Tour Junkies DB or Tour Junkies Pat on the Discord, and we will give you a one-time unique code to give you the biggest discount available to anyone, anywhere on Bet the Number. They're giving it exclusively to Tour Junkies Discord members. So I promise you will want it at that point. So listen, if you've not been in the Discord, you can sign up for the Discord, do the annual pass. That gets you in the Discord. It gets you in the drawing for the Masters tickets. And then you're going to save a ton on a Bet the Number membership as well. So do that. Check it out. Our friends at Bet the Number, thanks for partnering with us this year, for building a great golf product. People behind the scenes at Bet the Number, strictly dedicated to golf and know what they're doing, and know the professional PGA Tour experience behind the scenes of understanding golf courses and golfers. None better than the folks behind the scenes at Bet the Number. So check it out. All right, let's talk about top of the board, Pat. Up to 30-1. Here we are. Scotty Scheffler's now opened up even more of a lead on at Bay Hill. So, I mean, unless he just completely, I don't know, has an epilepsy or something all of a sudden. Like, I don't know how he loses. He's 13 under. Clark is 8 under. Scotty's on number 13. He is currently plus 650 to win. Rory is behind him at 10-1. Any interest in the top two? Rory looked bad today too. Rory's not looking great.
I don't know. I don't get what to do with Rory, because I feel like that 10-1 number is actually okay. There's a tad bit of value there, but he just can't put it all together. I mean, yesterday he looked fantastic, but then today it's been awful. So I don't think I want to, and look, what are we going to say? I mean, Scheffler's what, plus 750 right now?
Plus 650, I think.
Okay. Be hard to, if you want to bet those two guys, I'd be okay with it. But for me, I'm just going to stay down the board a little bit. If I was choosing between the two, it would certainly be Scheffler.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any interest in Rory right now. I don't think the guy has it at the moment. Sure, he's so talented, like he can look good for a day or 2 rounds, but like we're not even talking about like Rory that's like just late to the party and just like has one bad round and then looks like a world beater the other 3 and falls just short, like he's made a habit of doing over the last few years. Like he can't put 3 rounds together, much less 4. He just doesn't look. Something's going on, and I think it's probably mental or strokes gained home life a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised. I've started watching Full Swing season 2. He's very disgruntled in that.
Well, what would you say? What would be the problem? Strokes gained home life, just like kids and stuff.
No, I guess I'm saying home life. Like, I bet he's fine. Like wife and kids. It's just all the crap he's been through, all the stuff that he's done for the tour, all the live stuff and all the policy board stuff, and now he's off, and people still, Rom leaving, and the whole, like, everything just feels TGL, and it all has to catch up with you at some point. And I mean, if you watch the Full Swing thing, like it definitely kept him from keeping his game as sharp as he wanted to. And sometimes that stuff just doesn't come back overnight because you left the policy board. So I don't know. Like I'm a little concerned that Rory may just be not himself for a little bit. I don't know. I have no interest, obviously. I mean, it is going to
never have interest in him. So what? I don't even know why you bring him up sometimes. Like, we should just have a scrolling thing on the bottom. Have something at the bottom that scrolls and just says DB doesn't like Rory this week anytime he's in the field.
Well, look.
And so we don't even have to talk about it because we know you're never going to like him. So
look, if people have listened to me over that for the last however long we've been doing the show, I've saved them a bunch of money, a bunch of units, not liking Rory.
I'm pretty sure I have not put Rory on a single card this year or bet him.
Not this year, no. But that's why I asked, because typically, like, you're the Rory guy, so it's a good like temperature check to see where is Pat in Rory. DV out on Rory forever.
I love it.
It's like if I know that Pat is out on Rory, then whoa, like things are.
I'm not totally out, and like, we're not doing the DFS show because I'll love talking to Mayo about this too, because I don't, non-full-time Pat doesn't get to have his finger on the pulse of what everybody likes out there. And so I don't know if Mayo's a big Rory guy or not. So maybe we'll get in a battle if it'd be like 2-on-1 if y'all are both Rory haters. But
okay. All right.
Why don't we talk about who we do like here?
Well, who do you like in this?
Two guys,
30-1.
Two guys in this range.
Me too.
JT 25-1 and Max Homa 25-1. I like both those guys.
You and Max Homa, huh?
Look, Max has been, we've seen him now. He started off today bad, but he is a guy that I just feel like he grinds it. He never seems to let a course beat him in the head. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't just because there's going to be. We talked about this earlier. There's going to be holes at the players. Where it beats you up, you make a mistake, but he always seems to kind of just come back from that. We know he's a killer when it comes to getting into contention and winning. And his history here actually isn't that bad either. So, I mean, he does have a little bit of that kind of going for him, but I think Max is at 25-1. I really like that this week. And he's playing well, T16 at the Genesis. I think he's top 10 still in the API right now. In the model, he's kind of middle of the road for this field, but I do like Max. And then JT, I think we've been saying he's close. He was in the top 10, I guess, too, this week. Had the top 15 at the WM. Did miss the cut at the Genesis. Another guy, just like the typical player's history, very up and down. He won it back in 2021. But the last couple of years haven't been great. But I do think the way JT's playing, he could. I haven't looked at his putting numbers for the API yet, but I'd be curious to know where that looks. But
JT,
yeah,
he's gaining strokes. He's gained over a shot total.
But you just said too, you don't have to be the greatest putter to win this golf tournament. So
yeah,
I know that's been a struggle for him, but I do like him. So 25-1, JT and Homa would be my two favorites up here.
JT is God, I'm almost there. I'm almost there, but there's something about it right now that just I don't know. I'm wondering if his accuracy off the tee is concerning me a little bit. Not that you have to be wildly accurate here, but you can't miss big. And he's had some big misses this week, which can definitely happen at this weird golf course. But, maybe when all the numbers come in and API resolves and the dust settles and I can run the thing again, and models can include everything from API and we can kind of go back through it. I'll get there. I'm very close, and you being on him definitely, helps that. But the two that I had up here are both at now 30. One was at 33-1 this morning. He shortened a little bit, and rightfully so, because he was contending until Scotty ran away with it. But Willie Z at 30-1. I mean, this was my first week in on Willie Z. I've been kind of waiting, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in." Now I'm in. I've seen enough. And here I was thinking, yesterday at some point, I was like, "This is gonna happen." Willie, he had a 2 or 3 shot lead on everybody. Scheffler was way down there. I say way down there, 4 shots back, and then Willie Z's gonna lose to Scheffler by 7. But I mean, you keep giving me Willie Z at 25-1 or longer, and the way he's looked and the way he's playing right now on a ball striker's course. I think that's an automatic. You have to bet that, right? Is the only reason you didn't mention him because you thought he was still longer than 30-1?
Yeah, I did. I thought he was still at 33. So, and I think Willie Z it's been quite the turnaround from what we were seeing at the Hero when he was first starting, kind of coming back to where he is now. I mean, it's the dude is. I am so happy that I just clicked on him at 50-1 for the Masters a few months ago.
Yeah,
I mean, certainly aren't getting that now. And Willie Z feels like, a perfect fit for this golf tournament, just like he really kind of was at the API. If it just wasn't for some terrible holes on the back nine yesterday.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to blame anybody for getting boat raced by Scotty. It just doesn't.
True.
But I mean, his ball striking he's gaining strokes, ball striking. Basically neutral, a little better than neutral around the greens for all 4 rounds so far. gaining strokes putting for the whole tournament. Like, he looks way better. To me, if I just look at the board, like pound for pound, no pun intended about him being tiny, I think he's the best. He's the best value on the board. Like, even without odds right now, I think I would rather have him. I'd rather have him than Ludwig, obviously. I'd rather have him than Colin. You would probably agree with both. Well, I think you would agree with both of those.
Yeah.
Even as a Max Homa guy, I'd rather have him over Max Homa. You may not agree because you just talked about Max. JT, like I said, I'm iffy on. I'd way rather have him over Cantlay. Yes. Hovland he's concerning me too right now. Like, he doesn't look the same. And I talked about him. I can't remember if it was on Mayo's show or whatever, but last week, he won $18 million in like 10 days in the summer, right? Dude, single, no kids, he won $18 million. Now, he already had a ton of money too. But then we saw him play one time the rest of 2023 at the Hero, and he finished 10th out of 18. And then we've seen him in 2024, and he doesn't look like the same Victor Hovland, which can happen. So, like, I'd rather have Willie Z than Victor Hovland. And like I said last week, Patrick Cantlay and Xander, I refuse to bet those guys to win a golf tournament until they show me that they can actually get it done. And I don't know that the numbers would be any different if you wait on them to win again. Like, if Xander won today, if he somehow miraculously won API today, would he be that much shorter than 14-1 here?
No, I don't think he would be at all.
I don't either. Like,
I think both of them are terrible bets at this point. I agree.
So I just Willie Z is so incredible value to me.
Well, yeah, absolutely. What is it, the deal now? Like, can we get past the whole putting thing?
With what? With Willie Z?
Willie Z.
Well, it looks a lot better. It doesn't look like he's it doesn't look
I
like
always
he's
still think I see something. Like, anytime he does something, it's so polarizing. Like, one time he misses a short putt and it looks funky. It's like all over Twitter. Like, oh my God, it's so ugly. I could never see it. I mean, but the guy's not a bad putter right now.
No, I mean, like I said, he's gaining strokes at the API.
He did the 2 weeks before that. I think he gained at Genesis and at the Farmers wherever.
He did. I mean, watch out, right? Like, watch out if he's got that going. And he's played well at TPC. He's got a couple top 30 finishes. That's all you need. Like, you don't have to have. He's got laps around this place, and he's a stud. I just think one of the best values on the board. I'd bet him at 25-1. I love him at 30. I loved him at 33. So Willie Z, I'm all in on. And then I like Sam Burns, but honestly, like, seeing Sam Burns at 30-1 at the same number does feel like it actually it doesn't make me think Willie Z is maybe I'm overvaluing Willie Z as much as it's making me think like they may be overvaluing Sam Burns a little bit. And I love Sam Burns. Like, I do think Burns can be a closer. And he has played exceptionally well this season. This should be a good spot for Bermuda Burns, even though the Bermuda's a little more, it's not quite popping in March. But I think at 30, I'm still there. I don't know that number is going to shorten a whole lot. It may even get a little longer. So it might be like as we're here on Sunday at 4:40, it might be kind of a wait and see for me for Sam Burns.
Yeah,
but it's
Sam like Burns feels like like you like to, when you travel. Tomorrow you'll probably bring this to my house. You'll bring your PO to the house, and like Sam Burns feels like if I'm putting my betting card together and I need a good pillow, like just like this is my pillow bet that I can lay my head down and rest easy. Sam Burns feels like the pillow bet.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I don't know that I feel that. I don't know that I feel that way about Sam Burns because he's kind of a volatile player and it doesn't feel as reliable. I mean, I have my neck issues, so like my pillow helps.
Yeah, but don't you you're not going to be surprised if you see him up there in the top 10 or with a chance to win heading into the weekend or something.
Yes, but you're also not going to be surprised if he literally shoots 10 over on, and he's going home on Friday afternoon. That's just Sam Burns.
But when you're putting the card together, it's like that point where you're like, this feels good. My head feels good on the pillow. You don't know what's going to happen during the sleep.
So we have the the rape whistle buddy bet of the week, and now we might have the PO bet of the week.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I mean, I think we're kind of 2 for 2 with the rape whistle buddy bets of the week. I mean, both have performed fine. Have they won? No, but that's why they're dangerous. Or that's why. And by the way, Eric Cole last week is the rape whistle buddy bet of the week, is sitting at T21, and I can't tell you how much T20 exposure I have to him right now. And he's done. I really need. Obviously, it was put on MGM, so ties count. Really need somebody ahead of Eric Cole to bogey, for the love of God. Please, somebody, because I just can't. I can't do with another T21 from Eric Cole. Okay, that's kind of the top of the board. I know we spent a lot of time on that, but like knowing that the winner historically tends to come out of this range at the Players, I think it's worth talking about. A lot of those guys at the top. I have happened to check the chat. We try to avoid checking the chat for the most part. But I have checked the chat, and I've seen a lot of chatter about the Swannies gear. So yes, I told you I got my Swannies polo here to usher in the spring. Our boy Josh Kistler, I see Chris Draper's had some Swannies stuff. They love it. Thank you to everybody who's checked out Swannies. Go to swannies.co. Link is in the description. Code TJ25 gets you 25% off your entire order. It is a fantastic website. They've just dropped a bunch of new stuff for spring and summer. You can get men's stuff for the ladies, stuff for the junior junkies, the junior golfers, whatever they want to. They got all kind of good stuff based right here in the good old US of A, shipping to US and Canada. TJ25, 25% off your entire order. Support our friends at Swannies. All right, let's get to it. Up to 75 to 1, Pat. Talk to me about a few names in here you're eyeballing in this range.
Well, I mean, I think you could do worse than Hideki. I think he's around 35 to 1, maybe 40 to 1 on some books. I like Hideki a lot. People had some concern this week. There was a back issue or something, but that's Hideki for you. Obviously,
he told the media. He told like Japanese media but then he went out and shot like whatever he did on. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, but he's playing well. Obviously, won a few weeks ago. I like Hideki a lot this week. I think he is a good bet around 35 to 1. If you get him a little longer, definitely take it. I think, I am always hard to come around on Wyndham Clark, DB. I don't know why. It just takes a lot for me to want to click the button to bet him. But, I mean, we're seeing really good play again out of Wyndham Clark. He's second right now, I believe, to Scheffler. He's a player that, certainly plays well and elevates his game in fields that we'll have next week at the Players in good fields. He won at Pebble a few weeks ago. So I think, as a matter of fact, he's one that I would say, like, I don't even know. I haven't even looked. What is the history here? I don't know if it's that great, but I don't really care. I like Wyndham.
Matters, yeah.
I like Wyndham a lot this week. And he's at 40 to 1. This next one, I'm scared to talk about.
Is this the rape whistle buddy bet?
No, I don't think it is, because I'm looking at it because I wrote it down, and now I'm like, wait, he probably can't win. He's like the Irish version of Xander and Patrick Cantlay, but Lowry's been up there. He's given himself chances. 55 to 1 Lowry feels really good to me,
Pat.
But I just feel like he's going to break my heart if I put him on the card. But I did write him down, so I got to talk about him.
Pat.
But Lowry, what?
I think Lowry's a bet.
Okay. Is he the whistle bet?
I think Lowry.
We said we weren't going to do this every week. We said we weren't going to have.
I know, but it is the Players. It is the play. Next week we will not do it. Next week we will not do it. I don't even know what is next week. Valspar.
I think so.
Dude, I think your Lowry senses are dead on, and I think that even though he has kind of, soiled himself the last couple of tournaments with the chance to do something, again, it's it's on two very wildly crazy golf courses. Not that like Sawgrass isn't, but and even today, like it's not like if it weren't for Scotty, he'd be up there, right? Like Scotty's just boat racing everybody.
Yeah.
But Shane's kind of like not many people are shooting under par. Shane's kind of hanging on. He's hitting it really well. His around the green game has always been extremely solid. And he is a winner. Like it's not like Shane Lowry doesn't know how to close the door. He does.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it. And it would not shock me at all to see him winning the Players. 55-1. And just for a portly Irishman, does feel weatherproof because
it does.
If for some reason some gale force wind starts to blow in Ponte Vedra that's not predicted at the moment, the short game can carry him. So I'm Lowry's one I had start. He's one I like in this range a good bit. I'm in. If you want to be in together and you need a buddy to help you be brave, I'm willing to go in that dark, scary, homeless-ridden, dark parking deck with, that's dangerous, and you're walking to your car by yourself and you need a friend and you might need a whistle. I can be your buddy for Shane Lowry.
Okay, well, I needed that, so yes, I'm in on that.
It's official. It's official.
Now, there aren't many places in Ponte Vedra in that area where technically you're gonna feel that like you really need the whistle.
Maybe we should try to find one while we're there. We should try to find the one spot in Ponte Vedra where you would need your whistle, and see if Shane's there. Maybe Shane's there. What if he's in there?
He might be.
What if we bump into him? Like, remember how we bumped into guys before at just being in Ponte Vedra and like being in grocery stores or whatever. Remember, didn't we bump into somebody last year at a grocery store? Oh, I did. Ben Griffin.
Yeah.
Should we just also say that whoever we happen to bump into off the court, like off property, we should bet on that person? Maybe it's the vibes, golf gods.
I mean, it could happen. Was it the year? Do you remember this?
What if we run into Shane at the tavern? What if he's at the tavern?
We're definitely betting him then. You remember when was it Mullinax was staying right next to us one year when we Mullinax?
Yeah, and Pat was
that
that
might have been the COVID year.
Pat was like, I got a feeling on Mullinax. And I was like, is it because you saw him in the yard this morning? He's like, yeah. All right, so that's it. The rape whistle buddy bet of the week is Shane Lowry, 55-1. Nice. All right. I agree with you on Decky at 40. I got one more, Pat, and god dang it. I mean, you want to talk about a PO bet. The guy who over the years for me stays on the card, and I always feel comfy. And for the most part, it's not like it's terrible. It just never clicks. But also at 55-1, Tony Finau. I can't. I can't ignore Tony Finau. He's 11th in my model. He's had decent finishes here before. The irons are on fire right now. He had his best putting week, one of his best putting weeks in Mexico. He at least didn't lose strokes putting the other week. He's actually gained strokes putting at TPC Sawgrass 4 out of the last 5 years. That's promising. So I said the bad putters could win. Took the week off at Bay Hill. Maybe something to that for Tony. Maybe it's a mental thing. Maybe it's like, hey, I don't want to go to Bay Hill and play that dumb golf course. And, I want to keep my Mormon religion about me for that week heading into the Players. And he avoids it. And then he's in a better mental space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think he is one that I thought about too. He's top 10, by the way, in the BTN model. So he's right around where you have him too in the BTN model. And looks good really everywhere across the board. So I don't mind it.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, Decky, Lowry, Finau for me. Clark I kind of get, but I don't know that I don't know that I'm there.
It's hard to get there with Wyndham.
Yeah.
But we never have hit him ever because we just don't ever get there with him.
But see, what's funny is like I actually buy that he's a better player. I mean, I do. Like I believe he has elevated his game for sure.
Oh, 100%. Well,
remember we bet the hell out of him last year before he won, and then didn't bet him the week he won.
Yeah.
And then, of course, had Ricky at the U.S. Open. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about some bombs. Then we got to get to our top 26 pack and close the show. I want to thank our friends at SoBet for supporting the podcast yet another year. If you are not already on SoBet, you're missing out, man. They've got, I think now 57 or 58 vetted handicappers for every sport. We obviously do golf. There's a bunch of people doing every other sport imaginable. Really good stuff coming out of SoBet for March Madness. They're literally betting every college basketball game under the sun all the way through from now and through March Madness. And they've got people on there researching the hell out of this thing. So if you want somewhere where you can go and see handicappers that have a track record of success, know what they're doing, they have to be vulnerable with their plays, say why they like to play, give unit allocations for each play, and then be honest and transparent whether it hits or not. SoBet is the place for you. You can click the link in the description. Code TJ gets you started. Code TJ Trial gets you your first month for free. You can check it out, cancel at any time. We put exclusive bets on SoBet every week, and so do a bunch of other handicappers. So check it out, and we appreciate SoBet for supporting us for the second year here on the Tour Junkies podcast. All right, cool. Let's move on. Talking bombs. I got a handful of names in here. I mean, I think there's some real value right now on these names. I'll start with one of my favorites is Keith Mitchell. I mean, I've been kind of peppering Keith Mitchell all season so far. And, you know, I was thinking about it when I was writing his name down. Keith Mitchell's won one time. And now I hit it at 150 to 1, but it feels like Keith Mitchell gets bet by the community, by us all the time. And it has not paid off except for that one time. But, you know, you and I have walked in the ropes on practice rounds with Keith at this golf course. It's a great spot for him with what he does off the tee. If he can get the irons clicking and he can hold it together with the short game, not make the big numbers that sometimes he can tend to do, he could definitely win this place. Win at TPC Sawgrass. He is 8th in my model overall right now, and he is 100. He's 100 to 1 on FanDuel. And in that key approach bucket, he's 11th strokes gained last 30 rounds in the key approach bucket, and 2nd strokes gained off the tee. I mean, he's hitting it long and straight. I love Keith at 100. I also am going to bet because I can't stop thinking about how good this dude's irons have been. And he's got a strong performance, strong record here. Great recent form. I mean, how good has Tom Hoge been lately?
Yes, he has.
Like, Tom Hoge could win the Players. He could. Tom Hoge could win the Players. I know his picture on Bet the Number looks like he's a total doofus, and he's not. He's a smart guy. He's a good player. He's won on the PGA Tour. He could win the Players. Like, I don't think he's too intimidated. I don't think the stage is too big for him. He could win the Players, and he's having another incredible week with irons. He is 2nd in the field right now. He's through his 4th round. He's 2nd in the field in approach. He's gained over 8 strokes on approach, gained over 9 at the Cognizant, gained 6 at the Genesis. Like, maybe no one is hitting irons better than Tom Hoge on the PGA Tour right now, and he's 100 to 1 on a golf course where, guess what the number one thing you have to do is? Hit good irons.
Yeah. He is a fantastic ball striker, so I'm with you there on Hoge. I did not have him written down, but I'm with you.
The last one I know for sure I like in here is Corey Connors. And God dang it, I mean, it's similar to Hoge. Like, the irons just continue to be unreal. He's 3rd in the field this week. He's right behind Hoge at API. At the Cognizant, he was right behind Hoge again. He gained almost 8 behind Hoge, gained 3.5 at the Genesis. It's just, you know, like the tale as old as time with Corey is putting. But the only time, you know, I don't know, like, again, bad putters can win. 80 to 1 feels like a good number for a guy coming in good form. He's got a top 10 finish here in the last few years. Corey Connors at 80 feels good.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got a few in here. First first Benny on is at 100 to 1. I think he kind of snuck in here in the top 10 this week too at the API. But again, a guy that's played well all year long, has just been super solid. You look at his last couple events, top 25 at the Cognizant, top 10, here this week at the API. I think Ben on at 100 to 1 is pretty good. I like Sahith too, but I feel like he's just got to have a great driving week. I mean, he can get a little bit squirrely off the tee, but he's very creative around the greens. He's just got a good, feel for the game. I think this is a course where, just definitely being a good field player will help you. And I think Sahith has that. And I think he's, 90 to 1 for Sahith feels pretty good. Another guy that's playing well this week also. And I can't read.
Oh, nice.
I can't read maybe it's Hoagie. There's an H in there. So maybe I did write it.
Is it Henley? Is it Hadwin? Is it Harmon? Is it? I mean,
Who could this be? It's 110 to 1 though.
Is it Harris English? Harry English is 110 to 1. Which I do kind of think English is another one. There's what feels like a lot of good options in this spot.
Yeah, I don't know.
I took ASCII Bahita, but Patel, my guy.
I told you.
Nice pull there.
I'll put it in the chat when I figure out who this is at 110 to 1.
Yeah, there's probably 2 or 3 other guys in here that I really do like, but I don't want to give out all of them at this point. We'll be here forever, but those 3 are my favorites. Anybody else?
No, I think that's it. I got a few long shots though.
All right, let's talk bombs. Who do you got long shots over 125 to 1?
2 guys I absolutely love this week, DB. Doug Gim is 1 at 170 to 1.
I know, dude.
Hard not to like Doug. We've seen him up on the leaderboard here before, but the kid is definitely going to check some boxes. I'm going to say he's probably got to be in the top 10 of this. Yeah, he's 10th in the BTN model right now. But you look at his last 3 events, T12 at the WM, top 10 in Mexico, T16 in Honda. I mean, he was 6th here back in 2022. I love Doug Gim this week, 170 to 1. Another guy too that I just feel like he wins. He can win golf tournaments. Nick Taylor is at 170 to 1. I like that too for Nick. I feel like an easy one in here is EVR is also at 170 to 1. I feel like that could get a lot shorter. But of the 3 guys that I'm looking at in the longer shot range, Nick Taylor and Doug Gim I absolutely love, and I'd throw EVR in there too.
Yeah, I mean Gim, Taylor, EVR, all names I have written down. I would add one more, and that's Novak at 270 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe you didn't say Novak, or were you leaving that to me?
I was leaving that to you. I already knew you had that one on there. So.
I mean, in terms of recent iron play, Novak's been dialed. He's coming off 3 straight top 10 finishes. Waste Management, Mexico, and last week at the Cognizant. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. Just the stuff he's putting out on Twitter, and I don't know. I'm in on Novak. To win at 270 would be crazy. That leads me to the top 20s. He is for sure my top 20 bomb at 6 to 1 is Andrew Novak. My top 20 locks. Oh, Pat. If you're going to keep giving out Willie Z at plus money, plus 150 for Willie Z. Now, this is on FanDuel. We always say we prefer our finish position bets on MGM because they pay out in full. For ties, I would imagine Willie Z will be shorter than plus 150 when that rolls out. But whenever it drops, I'm hitting it. He'll probably still be plus money. And Pat, because I believe, I actually am going to lock in Shane Lowry at plus 220. I really am. Okay. Like I kind of thought about it too with these finish position bets. You can't get too locked up in the lock at TPC Sawgrass because we all have seen the chalk crash and burn here. So I didn't want to get like too short with the number. Like Willie Z, I feel is my guy. But then I was like, you know what? I might as well send it a little bit for my other lock. And I think Lowry feels about as good as a lot of guys. So my locks are Willie Z, Shane Lowry. My bomb is Andrew Novak. Couple portly fellas, and then the skinniest guy on tour.
Yeah, that's awesome. They should get a picture together. Maybe we can. We'll
see if we can
them on the range. Yeah, see if we can work that out. All right. Well, then, I feel like we got to go together then on Lowry. So I had him written down plus 220 also. I'm going to go JT at plus money, plus 125. I like JT to finish in the top 20 for sure, especially if I like him to win. And then I think, if you're not going to go with Nick Taylor at 170 to 1, plus 450, man, for Nick Taylor, I like a lot as a top 20 bomb lock. So there you go.
Now, Pat, we did not have a great week with the top 20s this week. In fact, Burns is absolutely ejecting himself. He was comfortably in the top 20 today. He now has made another triple on a par 4. So he got 2 7s on the card today. And of course, Eric Cole is going to finish T21. That is going to happen. Yes, that's going to happen. I am very not okay with that. I'm not happy, but here we are. So that means Willie Z is really our only hit. So that was not a good performance last week, but no, what can we do? All right, don't forget Masters contest. Join the Discord. Don't forget the DFS show with our friend Pat Mayo. It's gonna be me and 2 Pats. It's gonna be beautiful. Check out Swannies. Check out Bet the Number, the course preview show. Check that out as well for more intel. And let's have a fantastic week. We will be live in Ponte Vedra Beach. Can't wait for it. Bend over your bookies. See ya. Out.